back to another episode. And just like any other podcast, we are grateful, we are humble to really be here in your presence. Thanks for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Without further ado, you ready to jump in, my brother?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So we like to start every episode off just by asking a little bit about you and like where you from, how you grew up, a little bit about your family. Just tell us who Nessa is.
I was born in Elkhart. My mom is from Elkhart. All my family's in Elkhart. More my Wiley side of the family, and my dad's side of the family. And we moved to South Bend when I was in third grade. Me, my mom, and my brother when she married my stepdad. He has three children, which those are my brothers and my sister. Like I don't ever say step siblings at all. So we moved here when I was in third grade. Grew up on the west side, lakeside side of South Bend. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It was 5 of us that grew up in a house. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. I don't know if y'all have like a lot of siblings or anything, but it was 5 of us. 3 boys, 2 girls. So I'm the middle child, so I'm like the second mom in the house. Everybody used to call me Mom Junior, whatever they want to call me, because I was on everybody's case. But we had like a good childhood. We had fun. Our parents worked hard for everything that we did. We played sports. Well, 3 out of 5 played sports. My sister cheerleader. My other brother, he was like in orchestra. He's just like the smart one of the family. Mm-hmm. So played sports. Our parents were supportive of everything. My stepdad coached us. Me and my brother, Jarrell, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like it was a really good childhood.
So I mean, essentially, so you talked about your childhood. So after your childhood, into high school / undergraduate.
Okay, high school. Yeah. Went to Washington High School, class 08. Woo woo. High school was fun. They always say high school is your best years, and I would definitely guarantee like those are my best years. I still talk to all my high school friends. Essentially, a lot of my friends are still like my best friends, my sisters. I played basketball at Washington with your sister and plenty of more other girls. It was a very successful time that we had when we played at Washington. And then I graduated and went to a college called Taylor Fort Wayne. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
It's like a IUSB in Fort Wayne, not the real Taylor in Upland. So I went there my freshman year, and then they ended up closing the school. Whatever, don't know how that happens. Never heard of that. And I went to Indiana Tech, and so Indiana Tech is where I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. College, once again, was fun. Fun. College was fun because you had the freedom. So like when I'm talking to my students about college, I'm like, y'all just gotta go because the freedom y'all have, y'all ain't gotta answer to y'all parents. Curfew, y'all even got one. So, but yeah, college. That's where I went to Indiana Tech in Fort Wayne and got my bachelor's in criminal justice.
Okay.
Now, did you play ball in college?
I did. Talk about that.
Yeah, speak on that.
I played my freshman year, and then when I transferred, so my first college was a Christian college, so it was a culture shock for me. I'm used to being around African Americans. My school was based African American, so I went there with a lot of white. So I'm like, what is this? What's going on? So I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't, for a long time. And then actually, me and my roommate was like super shy, and I'm super Nessa, energetic, outgoing, bubbly, and so it was like a balance for both of us. So me having a roommate that was white put things in a different light, because I'm like, you like, this is what y'all do? And she looking at me like, this is what y'all do? I'm like, yeah, that's how we roll. That's how you. So that was different. And then after that school closed, I went to Indiana Tech, and that's when there was a lot of my people there. Yeah. So with that, my grades dropped a little bit, so I lost my scholarship and had to come home for a semester because I was kicking it. Right. So, but I learned my lesson quick. I had to like grind and get my grades back up to get my GPA. I think I dropped down. It was bad, like 1.9. I dropped that far because from transferring, my GPA went away. So when you transfer college, your GPA go away. Yep. So I had a new GPA, and my grades was trash. So, but I ended up having to come back home, taking online classes, and got my GPA back up, and ended up going back to school and got to finish out my basketball. Yep. So
how was that like? I know Indiana Tech is NAIA, right?
Yes.
So how was that like? Kind of the balance that workload from being a student athlete in college on a college level is completely different from high school. Can you like talk about that a little bit?
It's harder because of you have so many in between practices, in between class, and then you tired because you studying. So the balance it was hard. It was difficult, and I think it was my basketball experience from my freshman year to going to Indiana Tech was a lot different. That's why my grades dropped because of trying to kick it, trying to study, get up and go to class. I'm an early bird, so all my classes were in the morning. So that kind of got the best of me, and I figured like once I entered college, I wasn't as of an early bird as I thought. So I had to kind of push my classes back, but it was difficult due to the practices and the commitments you have to make for individual workouts, study tables, and it was difficult for sure.
Okay, so you finished undergrad, right? And what's the transition like coming back to the city? Why did you come back to South Bend?
I had nowhere else to go.
Okay.
If I had to explain, I don't think I grew up until I was 25.
Okay.
If I had to put a number on it, when I graduated college, it was 22?
Yeah,
22, 20.
roughly 23.
So I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a game plan, nothing. I had nothing set in stone. I came back. I think I was working. What was I working when I first came back? At a factory. My mom, job. They have a factory part in there, and I was working in there. I ended up moving up to the office position and doing like inventory and like an office call, 9 to 5, regular job. How long did I do that for?
How long?
For about 2.5 years.
Okay.
2.5 years I did that, and it was terrible. And that made me understand I did not like doing that. And so to kick into where I'm at now, teaching, opportunity came up to teach. So my friend Nika, she was working in Navarre, and they needed teachers. So they like, hey, we got these positions open. That's all you need is a bachelor's degree, and then they'll take care of the rest. Come teach. Bet, let's do it. So I went over there. I was teaching computers, college and careers and computers, so like the typing joint.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So when you teach and like you're first going into the game, they just throw you in there and be like, these your kids, make lessons. You're just like, ain't nobody gonna train me on nothing. They're like, no. So that was my first year teaching. So I was 24 going to 25 teaching. So I think my time frame is right. I'm probably a little off somewhere, but it's about 24, 25. Yeah, because I'm 30. Okay, yeah. But so that was like game changer. I did not know how much the youth needed black people in the building. Like,
for sure.
It was I can't get it. Like, once you're in it, you can't get away from it. When you're working with the youth, it's hard to get away from it. But yeah, my first year in Navarre was it was a blessing because one, I went there. So to teach at a school you went to was like,
that's dope.
It was real dope. So I was like excited to do that. And the kids that I work with, I still talk to them to this day. So like my first year kids just graduated last year. So just to kind of a backstory on that, they were the kids that were the 9/11 babies, and now they're the COVID. They couldn't even graduate, so they were 9/11 babies. And they always try to say like they are the worst kids because they're, I don't know, because of trauma in their moms when they were pregnant. And so that's what like people would say. I'm like, okay, that makes no sense.
Far-fetched.
But and so now like they were seniors, they are the COVID babies, I guess you can say. So but yeah, my first year kids were seniors last year, so that meant something to me that they still want to keep in contact with me. And I'm like, dang, I'm that teacher, okay, like I'm cool, like which I know that already. But like for them to like really think, I didn't know how I would react to the kids. I didn't know how the kids would react to me because I'm like, I don't be in there like, oh, I'm nice. I be in there rolling my neck, pointing my finger, acting like, a black mom or whatever. I'm being there on that, and they still love me. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's weird. And I'm like, I wouldn't like me, but okay, cool. But so from there, I'm now in my 6th year teaching, and I'm teaching at Dickinson.
Okay.
When you had touched on the importance of black kids being taught about having black teachers, can you dive a little bit deeper on that and why you feel that way?
Why?
Because I'm trying to think, when did I have my first? When I talk about this, I always say like, can you remember having your first black teacher or a teacher that looked like you? And I think I would say high school. I had my first black teacher. It took me from kindergarten all the way to high school. That's a long time to not see somebody that looked like me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a big difference. It's a respect level. Like I just see when I see how the kids react to me towards my other colleagues, it's just a big difference because I understand them.
Right.
I get them and I want to get them. And don't get me wrong, there's other colleagues that's not black that can get to the kids because they want to understand they're not fake with it. So just having that is important, you know, for the kids, and they can just relate. I'm trying to think how can I explain it, but just to relate how, you know, Uncle Mo said it best, like they go in there and see me look like them. Like I wear braids in my hair, I wear this, I got baby hair, you know, so they like, dang, my teacher kind of look like me. Or even like I'm from this side of town, I don't live 30 minutes away, so they see me at the grocery store, they see me at basketball games, they see me around, so they like, oh yeah, she cool for real.
Right.
Like she one of us, she around. So it makes a huge difference for sure.
100%. So what's it like being a mother?
Oh, it's wonderful. Nah, it's dope for sure. I'm glad you asked me that because I was just thinking about my transition to motherhood because I have a black son. He's 3. Of how like everything that's going on now, I'm way more in tune with it. So like speaking from like the Trayvon Martin situation all the way up to like Breonna Taylor, I'm so in tune with it because I have to be in tune to teach my son what's going on. But I always try to make sure I find a balance for him because he's a smart kid. Like he's so smart and soaks up so much and knows so much even at his young age. So I try to keep him in a loop. I'm trying, you know, when I am coaching, I try to bring him to my practices so he can see that I'm actually active. And actually your dad too, like both of your dads are dope. By the way, he was like, don't think you not spending time with him because when he's there in your presence, that is spending time with him because he's seeing you, he's with you. You may not be like, you know, playing with, but you are with him. So that made me feel like feel good. So being a mom is dope. It's life changing in all aspects of your life. Like I lived 26 years without him, and now I can't imagine life without him. And he's only been for 3 years, so
that's crazy.
Yes, it's so crazy because when you think like I lived 26 years, and now I'm like, if something ever like I wouldn't know what to do, like it would be just a whole, and that's only been 3 years of my life with him. Going on 4, he'll be 4 in February. So but yeah, he's a dope kid for sure.
So you talked about, I really want to harp on this. You talked about that time period from when you got out of undergraduate education leading to 25, and you said you was lost. So, and you talked about getting a job at like 24. So, only reason why I bring that back up is because it's a lot of people our age that just got out of school, and they don't know. They don't
know what to do.
You know, so just encourage. Just what would you tell them? What's some encouraging word that
you have to have? You have to have positive people around you. I have a very supportive family. I have very supportive friends. I'm fortunate. I always have to be grateful for that because I have a bomb family and my friends are just as bomb because they're like family. So a lot of people don't have that. Some people probably have friends. Some people have, but I have like a really good family. My mom has 5 sisters and they are all like mothers to me. So that's very important. I have like best friends that are really moving in the right direction. Like 3 of my friends are master's degrees right now. So Kara's just got hers, you know, and 2 other friends got masters. I'm working on mine. Another friend's working. So just like having those, you got to find positive people and be around them, like good energy. And I think a lot of people, when they come back, they go back to their old ways when they come back here and never find a way out. And I feel sorry for them because I'm like, man, y'all have to figure it out. Because, you know, people always want to harp South Bend. I'm like, South Bend is not a bad place. It's what you make of it. You have to make of it and be around the right people, and it'll be a good place. So my advice is just be around people that's positive. You know people who's positive. Just start getting in a circle. Start having a, you know, conversation with them. What do I need to do to be with y'all? You know, type. Not about to cuss. So what do you need to do to be around y'all? I always have to speak for me. I was fortunate to have a dope family and dope friends that are out here killing it. Like shout out to my friends that's out here killing it. So, but yeah, basically.
Okay. So I guess a question that I have for you, like right now in this time period in your life, you juggling a lot, right? You said you had a business, you coach, you're a mom, teacher, you got a lot going on. So what's your biggest focus as far as time management goes? How do you kind of balance everything?
When I tell you, I just found that out this year because I used to be doing the most. Like my mom, my friends, they'd be like, "You gotta chill out," and I had to find that chill because it was too much going on. Like especially when I first started my master's, I'm like, man, school, coaching, mom, all shirts, all that business. It's like how, and it took me to this year to figure out the word no. I had to figure that out. I had to tell people no. Even with my business, no, I can't do it. I can't because I would be like, oh yeah, you can just come with this, that, and even like with family functions, going to friend, like no, I don't have time for it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to tread myself thin anymore. It was stressful. Like you can just feel stress here. Like it was bad. So this year I to help with my time balance with saying no and doing stuff that I wanted to do. If I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it and did not feel bad about it. And I had to, that's when you have to explain yourself or don't want to explain yourself. But it's sometimes like I don't want to do it. And that's how I feel. I don't care how you feel or nobody. I do not want to do it. So I had to learn the word no. And once I did that, I'm like, this feels good. Yeah. Like, I have so much free time and time like to sit with my son and do stuff with him. And but yeah, this 2020 taught me to say no for that time balance for sure.
Wow.
So we being a mother with a black son and everything going on right now as far as like worrying about when he grows older, him being in the wrong environments as far as his friend group, as far as being a black man in the world that's dominated by white males, and even with the police brutality and everything that's going on, what advice do you give him on a daily, or do you have him speak those affirmations? Do you have what do you give your son, or what advice do you pour into, and what nerves do you have as a black mother that kind of can be resolved by the community?
It's so funny you say that because I've been looking for books to like brown kid books. That's what I call them, brown kid books. Is for he can see books that look like him with those affirmations in it. But usually my typical thing is to teach him love. I always ask him, what is love? What's love? And because he's so rough. And I'm like, that's not love. Like, you can't just be rough all the time. People just want you to love on them. So I'm like, love is a hug.
You do need to be rough, though.
No, not all the time, though. Yeah, I get that. I love rough, that he has it, but in the world, he needs to know love, too.
You're right.
I get what you're saying. I'm with you on that. But, like, he got to know what love, and I always want him to know that, what love is, and this is love. So, like, with anything with the police brutality or anybody saying he's this or that he knows, like, that's not love. That's not how you treat people. So if he knows what love is, he knows that if anybody say anything about my skin color or say that I look like that or that's not love. So I don't have to listen to that. That's not something that should bother me because I know that's not what love is. Right. So I just that's why I try to teach him to love. The love is a hug, love is kissing, love is touch, love is, saying I love you, and those different type of things. So that's something that I teach him in the now. He's young, still young, to have those conversations. I do have friends that have sons that are brown skinned boys, and he's a little older and asking those questions. I'm just like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to answer them. How do I answer them? Like, I'm still in that phase. So I have a friend that reads a lot of books, and I'm like, can you send me books? Send me some books that I can read to prepare me for this moment. Right. So, but it's hard when, like, they're 3, they're young, to think of them. I can't even think of him as being 5. It's so hard to see past 3. It's so to get to that state, I'm really not there yet, but I'm preparing myself to be ready for that conversation. So right now, I just try to teach him, love, and show people love and be love, because that's what I am. I always show love to people, and I think I'm a person like, you can't say no the bad thing about me. I feel like, but maybe you can, but I feel that way. I'm supposed to feel that way. So, but yeah, that's how I've been dealing with that with him. in the now.
I mean, lastly, the last question I always ask is, what would you tell people about that are 50-50 on the fence about bringing their talents back to South Bend, moving back to South Bend, and pouring into our community?
Like, I think you don't know how bad it is until you're in like a particular field. So like with teaching, I can speak on my career path. If you're here, you need to get involved with the youth. I see so many people complain about the school system, and I always say, I see nobody coming into the building trying to fix anything.
Yeah.
There's no mentors coming in. There's nobody. So if gonna complain about anything, come in, talk to somebody. Like, I always try to make it known that I'm working in the school system, like on social media. So if they have questions, come talk to us and let us know what's going on, what's your complaints, and so I feel like if you're gonna talk bad, like, try to do something about it. Yeah. In general, with anything, like, people have so much to say but not doing anything about it to fix the problem. So if I always think, people, like I said once again, people think, oh, it's South Bend, I don't want to live here. Why not? It's cheap living. You can still travel, have a nice house, and feed in your community and give back to your community. For me, it's been a blessing because I know kids' parents, so that's weird. So when I'm, it's a tie, like, tied to your community. It's like, oh, I know your mom, I know your dad, I know your uncle. So it helps with just the community building, because like with me coaching, when coaching has actually opened a lot of doors for me. But when I see people that like, oh, I remember her from Washington. She good people. Yeah. So they gonna want good people. They want to bring people around because they know I'm good people. So they want to bring their kids. So like, and then other people from the community that leaves and then come back, or don't want to come back, or can't come back. That makes sense. Yep. They will be like, oh, she's good people. Like, let me tag along with her. Let me put my kid on her team, or let me take my kid to her school. Because people be like, what school you teaching at? I want my daughter to come there, to play. And I'm like, that's just really what it is.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so just, if I think I answered your question right.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming back. Thank you for putting your best foot forward daily. Thank you for coaching. Thank you for running a business. Thank you for being a mother.
Oh, thank you
for stepping up and just being you.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you.
And for being on the show, because we think that the city and the community and our minds that listen to our show on a weekly need to hear your story.
Yeah.
To hear this. So we would like to say thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate y'all for watching, sticking with us, and I hope this was impactful for you. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.
I lost some soldiers on the street, somebody pray for